And just so you know that if your camera's on, we can still see you falling asleep on Zoom. I just want to make that very clear. But please do camera on, camera off, whatever you're comfortable with. But I want to begin my remarks tonight by asking you a question. It's a personal question. I want you to think about it. Do you believe in angels? And I'm looking at the Zoom screens that I see in front of me. I see some head nods. I see a little confusion, some hesitantly half-raised hands, kind of like how I used to raise my hand in school when the teacher asked who didn't do their homework. Do you believe in angels? One of my favorite movies as a child, and really still today, is Angels in the Outfield. Now, it recently just debuted on Disney+. I had a chance to rewatch it. And it's hard to believe that the remake of that 1950s classic is already 20 years old. But it had a terrific cast. You're talking Danny Glover, Tony Danza, and one of my all-time favorite actors, Christopher Lloyd. And its tagline was, "You've got to believe." And when I think about angels, I think about that movie. Poor, lovable Roger, who prays for his favorite baseball team to win the championship. And Christopher Lloyd, garbed in his white robe, halo wings and all, he zooms down from the heavens. He picks up the center fielder just in time for him to catch what would have been a home run and to make the last out. And I liked to think that angels worked that way. But if years of being a sports fan have taught me anything, that doesn't really seem to be the case. But just like that movie, and especially amidst the chaos, everything we see going on in the world around us, it can be hard to believe. There have been so many moments when we hoped and we prayed for an angel to appear, to make everything okay, to save the day, but we were left disappointed. Now, whether or not we personally believe in angels, the narrative of the Tanakh and rabbinic literature is filled with moments when they appear. From the angels that God consults when creating the world, to the angel who grabs Abraham's hand at the very last second, stopping him from sacrificing Isaac. An angel appears to Joshua the night before the Israelites crossed the Jordan River to the land of Israel, and then there's the angel that can only be seen by Balaam's talking donkey. Angels play a prominent role throughout the Bible and in Jewish tradition. But if we take a closer look at the episodes in the book of Genesis that tell of angelic presence world, including our High Holy Day Torah reading, we realize that what can make an angel so special, so extraordinary, is just how ordinary at times they tend to be. Now, on Rosh Hashanah, we read the story about Abraham, who runs from the entrance of his tent to greet three Anashim, three strangers who were simply wandering in the desert. Sarah thought they were foolish when they told her that she was going to have a child. She was over 90 years old, so much so that she famously laughed at them. She didn't believe it. Only later does Abraham learn that these three Anashim are angels, that they're actually messengers from God. Now, remember one Passover, we were having Seder at my aunt and uncle's house in New Jersey. I think I might have been about 6 years old. I was sent to go open the door for Elijah. Everyone stood up and started to sing Eliyahu Hanavi. I opened the door and was horrified to see what seemed to be Elijah. I ran through the house, shrieking at the top of my lungs. I locked myself in the bathroom. It took my parents hours to get me to come out. Only later did I find out that it was my aunt covered in a bedsheet. More often than not, when the Torah speaks of angels, they don't really look like what we would expect them to look like. Rarely when an angel first appears to someone in the Torah, do they realize that they are speaking not to another person, but to a messenger from God, or at times even directly to God, God's self. Human nature is to be skeptical of the idea of being visited by the supernatural, divine beings. And as in the case of the Torah or at my Seder, even if we are looking straight at an angel in front of us, I'm not sure if we'd be able to recognize it if we saw it. Now, later on in the book of Genesis, Jacob sends malachim, which in this context seems to imply messengers of sort to greet Esau. They're instructed to offer Esau gifts in hopes of avoiding what Jacob thinks could be a bloody and violent meeting between the two estranged brothers. But the word malachim also means angels, and the rabbis argue as to whom it was that Jacob sent. Some commentators suggest that they were divine beings, while others were bothered by the notion that Jacob had the power to compel agents of God to action. But there's also a midrash in the Tanhuma that reconciles the two positions. According to that midrash, these messengers, they were human angels, human beings of flesh and blood. But what made them malachim, what made them angels, was their mission. It was their job to find a way to make peace between the two feuding siblings, an impossible task for any human being. Doing so would be nothing short of a miracle. Anyone capable of doing things so remarkable would be doing the work and the will of God. Anyone capable of doing that work must be angelic. And this brings us to the third and final angel that I'd like to discuss from the book of Genesis tonight. Amidst the patriarchal stories, the text uncharacteristically and relatively randomly interrupts the narrative to tell us that Devorah, Rebekah's nurse, dies. First of all, mentioning the death of a woman, let alone a relatively insignificant one, incredibly rare in the Torah, which begs the question, why is it mentioned here? And I'd like to suggest the reason as to why. Now, according to another midrash, Devorah had been looking after Rebekah since she was a child. She was with her in all of her struggles, so for Devorah deserved to be mentioned here because for Rebekah and for Jacob, she was one they looked to care for stability, for comfort, and support. It seems to be that for Rebekah and her family, this woman, this nurse, could have tried what it meant to be a friend, to be a nurse, helping them and supporting them through the good times and bad, kind of like an angel sent from heaven. One of my favorite Hasidic tales of all times is about Reb Yosef. Reb Yosef went to his Rebbe. He desperately wanted Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, God's most reliable angel, to visit. So he said, Rebbe, what can I do? Is there anything that I can do that would merit me a visit from Elijah? The Rebbe was silent, stroked his beard, very deep in thought, and after a few moments, he told Reb Yosef that he would think about it and that he should come back 3 days later. 3 days later, Reb Yosef returned. The Rebbe once again was silent, but Reb Yosef, he begged, please, 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 is there anything I can do? I would do anything to be graced with a visit from the holy Elijah. The wise Rebbe stroked his beard once again. And Reb Yosef, he said, you know, the holidays are just around the corner. And there's a family in our community that's going through hard times and doesn't have much. Provide for them everything that they need to celebrate the holiday. Help them purchase food, help them get new clothes for their children, invite them over for festival meals, flowing wine, tasty desserts so they can celebrate and not have to worry about anything. Then, and only then, will you merit a visit from Elijah. And at that, Reb Yosef went to work. He went above and beyond. He did everything that the Rebbe said. He gave them everything they could want and more. The festivals came and they went. But Elijah never came. Reb Yosef stormed into the Rebbe's office. He was angry. He screamed, I did everything you asked, but Elijah never came. To which the Rebbe replied, but Reb Yosef, Elijah was there. To that family, you were Elijah. Now, I guess that if the Padres can make the playoffs, 4 Grand Slams, 5 Grand Slams, in as many games, maybe Angels do play baseball. But for me, when I think of Angels, I think of Reb Yosef. I think of the Malachim. I think of people like Devorah, the caregivers who are tasked with caring for our loved ones day in and night through all of the difficult times. I think of teachers doing whatever it takes during a global pandemic to educate our children. I think of the doctors and the healthcare workers on the front lines putting themselves at risk, the scientists that are working around the clock to find a vaccine. I think of the delivery people, and I think of those working registers at supermarkets, the essential workers who went to work each and every day when we were told that to stay safe and healthy, we needed to be at home just so that we could feed our families. I think of every one of you who has reached out to a friend, a congregant, or someone who is suffering with assistance, or even just a warm and comforting voice to offer help, to offer support, and to do holy work. When I think of angels, I think of all the individuals in our lives whom we interact with, amidst all of the darkness, have been a source of light, a source of blessings, and a force for good. Now, as the text implies, being an angel isn't about what we look like and where we come from, or even how close to God we may be. Being an angel is about our mission, what it is that we do, and the ways we can bring blessings into the lives of others and into the world around us. So I ask you once again, do you believe in angels? Because I do. I believe that there are always angels amongst us. We have no idea where those angels will come from. We have no idea what those angels will look like. But what I do know is that each and every person we encounter is created b'tselem Elohim, in the image of God, and that every person we encounter has the potential to be a source of blessings and holiness in our lives and in the world around us. Now, when we recited Kaddish over the High Holy Day season, we add an extra word. We say la'ela, la'ela, that today, on all days, we ascend higher and are holier than any other time of the year. And according to tradition, tonight, as we begin Yom Kippur, we are all elevated to the holiness level of angels. That's why when we said the Shema, for the one and only time this year, we said that line, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam. We said that line out loud because we are as holy as angels. That's why we were white. But it's my hope and prayer for all of us that we not only recognize our agency as angels today during the High Holy Day season, but that we have the power to do holy work, to be messengers of God each and every day. We live in a world where we are in desperate need of the Hanavi, of Elijah. And lucky for us, we can all be Elijah. We all deserve a wonderful life. There are no second-class angels here. Each and every one of us has a responsibility to earn our wings. And tonight, on the holiest night of the Jewish year, I want you to think about what it is that we need to do to earn ours. May we all come to recognize and appreciate the many malachim in our lives, the many different angels that have touched our lives, our families, our community, the world around us over the past year. May we all harness the Tselem Elohim, God's image that is in all of us, enabling us to be a source of blessings and holiness, to be angels in the lives of others and in the world around us. And let us say, Amen.